Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as you know, last Friday I attempted to turn needle edge applique this bird, and it didn't go too well. I decided that it was going to be too much of a task for me with my non-ability to turn the fabric easily so that I could pin it then stitch it. And then my eyesight really caught up with me where I was struggling to see the tiny stitches needed for such work. So I decided to quit while I was ahead, unpick it, recut these pieces, and we're back today to have a play again to see if we can come up with a plan of attack for the piece. So my plan at the moment is to potentially do an overcast stitch or a running stitch or a combination of. So let's get our little bird back into position and see where it leads us. Nothing like an adventure, I say. You just never know where these crafts are going to take you. And I guess the biggest thing is to know when to stop and readjust, because there is nothing worse than starting a project and then it ends up in your cupboard unfinished because you're just not enjoying it. So there's a lesson, I think, to be learnt there. So let's get our little bird back into position and see what we need to do to get him down. That's better. At least this way I'll get nice clean lines. If you remember, it was quite jagged where these colours met, and that would have just infuriated me. So I need, must be this one. Let's have a look at this. Get his plumage. Oh, he's a pretty boy. So let's get him into position. I like to put this top wing on. So that actually comes right up there to the neck. I'm just using this picture as a reference. So that comes right up to the top on that. It's finding that one point that once you get that, and I think I've got him now, and it was what it was for me, this wing actually comes up to the neck. And that was the bit that made it adjust, because he was just not looking right. And there's the green one. And this comes in under here. Yep. Oh yeah, that's better. Let's get that wing on top. Yeah. Much better. There we go. There's our little man. So he's got little feathers coming off, and then of course his little mouth. So let's just now get these pieces secured down with some pins. And then what I'm going to do is grab my art glitter glue. I'll keep those bits because we're more than likely going to do a few birds. It's going to be quite whimsical, I think. Well, I the end of the day, I don't have a great plan. Just going with the flow, starting in the top corner. Let's keep them together. Now, get rid of these pins before I have them bite me. Let's grab this glue, and I'm just going to sneak around the edges of everything and just put a little smearing of glue in. And that will hold fraying. You can use those quilters glue sticks. They're very good. But just be mindful that if your fabric is wanting a clean edge, they're probably not the glue to use for this job, because they can start breaking down your edge because you're dragging the glue across the fabric. So you might find that your piece just starts to fray, which is what you don't want if you want a clean edge. If you want more of a rusticy looking little bird, well then, yeah, go for it. It'll help rough up your edges to make it. That's good. Just slithering ever so small amount. It's just sort of to tack it so he doesn't move, and catch those edges. I was trying to do this the other afternoon, and it was getting warm in my room, so the glue was just pouring out of the bottle, just making it very difficult to do it. Okay, now I think if I come along there, yep, so I can remove some of these pins now to access areas that I haven't glued. Not that you have to do every edge. Once you get a few down, you'll probably find that it will sit just fine. Okay, so I think that one can come out. Don't think I have any under this tail. Just going to move it down and sneak a little through this region here. There we go. Okay, now where's my needle? So that's pretty much my little bird in position now. I'll just show you if I can see it, the glue stick. That you could use. Here it is. This little guy. These are the refills. Oh no, I don't have it handy. No. These are the little refills that go into those quilters glue sticks, and it's like a pink gel. Could have sworn I had one in here. I was going to show you. No, I don't. I don't know where it's got to now. Anyway, now I guess we've got to decide what we're going to do with the decorating. I'm just grabbing my pen. I just want to draw in his feet and his feathers. So he's got this plumage that comes out and then has like a feature on the end. Aren't you a pretty boy? Okay, and then there's a little eye right in the middle. And then he's got the sweetest little beak. Real singing looking beak. Okay, then they've given him some legs that are quite chunky, which makes sense. He's a big bird, so we don't want thin little legs. Okay, so we've now got our ground, so to speak, our base to him. Now, let's have a play with another flower. So I'm thinking we may carry on with that flower that is underneath him. Now I did trace the flower. I think it's that there. And there was the bird, if I wanted to do a second bird. So I'm going to cut that off of him. So I've gone ahead and traced another bird. I've just written bird there. That's the flower under the bird, of course. Flower number 2 and flower number 1. Now those are these guys, flower number 1 and flower number 2. I haven't done anything with the peacock yet because I'm just not sure if he'll be the right size. So we'll get to him another day. So let's have a play with this flower next, I think. The other thing I want to do is bring into this piece some of my crocheting and lace to help create some layers. So we also need to have a little play with some doilies. Now the other thing I've got is I've got this piece of lace here that is from a top, a blouse that I picked up in an op shop. And I just wanted to have a closer look at it to see if there's anything in there that catches my eye that could be used. Like there is flowers, but they're a little bit distorted. You sort of need to put that whole piece in its entirety in. There's a little one there. I don't think this is actually going to do anything for me, which is disappointing because I thought that might be something I could play with. I'm going to put this away now. It's been rolling around on my desk for about a month and I sort of had it in the back of my mind for a project like this, but it's now out, so that can go away. This is a blouse that I've been nibbling at for ages and has flowers in it. And I'm wondering if we use this. This is probably a little bit more whimsical, and I must say I like the colours a little bit better. So I'm thinking that this is where we're going to go. So I'm just going to cut out this flower here. And it might be a case of we fussy cut all the elements we can out of it, like try and pinch as much as we can from it to see sort of how much we've got and how much we use. Yeah, I'm liking that. So I'm just going to let it sit there for a moment. Whether it stays there or not, who knows. And let's cut out our flower. We might do this bit first. And I think it's going to be a case of flowers, leaves, lace, and just repeat as we meander back down the piece of fabric, and we'll sort of crab sideways to this white bit over here, and then decide what's the feature that's going to be in there. Is it going to be a flower, a bird? Now I've got some other birds that will work with this piece, and they're the ones from the Alfred from Lisa Maddox's pattern, and that allows you to do all sorts of birds. Oh, those dogs. I tell you, once we've had breakfast, it's then just party and play. There might be someone walking along the street too. Sometimes walkers, I don't know how they hear it. They can't see the street. Oh, I know. I've figured this out once before. There's a dog up the street that woofs, then the next dog woofs, then the next, and the next, and the next. And we're down the end of the street. So by the time Pepper gets that message, it's 6 humans, 1 white fluffy dog are coming down the street. And then everyone woofs and welcomes them, maybe. Or says, get out of our street. I don't know. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. I'm just cutting these out. Okay, so there's our flower. Now, I went hunting for a little bit more pink. I just grabbed a wad of fabric that I thought might work, but that's just a little bit too crazy pink for me. That one there might work. The greys. Ah, it's so hard. I might just bring the camera up a little bit, guys, just so we've got a little bit more room to see. The question is the colour of the flowers. I don't really have pink in this piece, but I don't want it to... Oh, I don't think they're going to work. Let's have a look at these blues. Oop. Maybe a blue. Just go for it. I sort of like the blues to lift it a little bit. Now you can pin your little pattern piece on, but I'm going to free cut it because I think it's okay to be held. It's not going to wriggle too much being this size. Okay. One blue center to the flower. Let's have a look. So I might do that big leaf. There's a leaf. It's a little bit matchy-matchy. So let's put in there a yellow. Even though these aren't William Morris fabrics, they're sort of similar. I guess maybe he's one of those designers in history that has influenced flowers in general in textile printing and wallpaper printing. You know, he had that distinct style. And there's so many times you look at things and you think, oh, I wonder if that's a William Morris. It's probably not, but I bet it's been influenced by him because he was so relevant to our history of fabric, you know. So that little guy's done. I'm just putting each piece as I cut them over to the side, out of the way. Okay, this little one. Okay, here's another little one. And which one did I cut out then? Oh, I knew I should have pinned that one there, so that's all good. Now let's find something else. Maybe this spot. That's a green. Doesn't matter if it's a green. Maybe this olive. Okay. So we snip around the last flower. The other decision I've got to make is, what are the stems going to be? What can we use for them? Do we use fabric? Do we use some cordage? Do we use... There we go. One flower. Okay, now let's get some leaves happening. I need a nice green. I got anything there jumping out at me? What's in my bucket of scraps? Should be lots of greens down in here. Having a bit of a rummage. This is a good little leaf-like scrap. So let's cut out some of these leaves. Probably should get a couple different greens so that we've got that changing of the colour. You know, when you look at a tree, you'll often see 3 or 4 different tones of green as light bounces around. So, what could we use as a stem? We could couch onto the fabric some form of yarn. I don't know if I got much green yarn in the way of wool yarn that would be chunky enough and look nice as a edge. What about we use a crocheted element from a table runner that I've cut down? Always looking for ways to use my scraps that come from what I really want out of a runner, like the motifs. That might work, and it'll be flexible enough to adjust it as we meander around. So I'm just going to cut out a couple leaves. I'm going to need a pin in that. This fabric's really soft. Actually feels like it's been washed. It's lost that starchiness. Whoops, I pinned it but didn't pin anything. I remember the first time I bought fabric to make a quilt and I went and washed it. And it just came out so floppy and a hang of a mess. And I was like, what's gone wrong? And then, of course, I learnt that it's best not to, so that you've got some integrity to the fabric until you're ready to make it a beautiful soft quilt. And it's, you know, in its form by then. I'm so disappointed. I ended up making the quilt and it worked out okay. It was just soft and smushy to start with. And when you're a beginner, it's probably not the best. I'm thinking that flower is just lost there. I really am. So I'm not sure what the solution is yet. Oh, the adventures of collaging a scene together out of scraps. Another leaf. We might do 4 in this tone. Then we'll do 4 in another colour. So we've at least got a few leaves we can play with. Okay, let's whip around here. There's our 4 leaves. Let's see if I can find another green in the bucket that might blend. What have we got? Lots of blues, lots of red. There's another green. And a reasonable chunk of it too. There's a few different greens there. Let's get some of these darker ones. That fabric feels nice. It's not soft and mushy like that other one. Feels like a good quality fabric. That's what it feels like. Okay. Maybe that flower, that blue flower, has to be over in the patch so that it's got a bit of a background to feature it. And the other thing we can do, which is not out of the question, is we can actually stitch more patches onto our piece, so that if there's something we want to highlight and make it stand out, we can slide a piece of that fabric in and then just stitch it down. So there's a bud or something like that. So we're not limited, I guess, to what we have. So that might be something we can consider. Okay, one more. I'm starting to free cut these a little bit now. I've got a feel for the shape of this leaf. I'm not sticking to the pattern as such, so that'll be good. We can have a bit of creative license, as they would say. So we'll keep that green to one side because that's going to be part of it. I think we will need a lighter green as well, but we will see. Now, technically, if we're going by this design, there's a leaf that comes right up under our boy's feet. I'm going to have to move the flower more down here, which we're just not going to see. Let's just say that right now. You wouldn't even know that's there. So we're going to move the flower out and over to here. And we might look at doing some more coming off. So design has completely changed. So we're now off and away on our own accord. So let's maybe just meander our way down here, getting us a bit of a branch. So he was sitting on a scroll. I do like that. So let's get, see this here? Let's get that under him because I do like that. So it was a big circle that come around, catching his feet like a tendril. And then the plant started on its way, all the way down like that. That's a good start. So then we can have that still coming off there, that coming off there. We might start another branch coming out. You probably can't see, neither can I. I can't see what's going on there. So let's get another flower there. Not flower. So if there's a branch coming across to catch this guy, let's just roughly place some leaves in position. And then if we did another flower here and maybe made it a bit bigger, maybe this one can come up towards the sky a little bit. Oh gosh. I feel half asleep this morning. I don't know why. All right, that's a start. We might have that coming out of that region just to start drifting in some of those elements. Now, where's my pins? I'm just going to pin each of these leaves. And I need to have a think about the stem. Now I just want to put a paper clip on these pieces here before I flick them on the floor and lose them. So that's our leaves and this is our flower. I might just lay down this flower over here as another piece that will pop in at some point. Definitely going to be another flower. Be heaps of flowers, I'd say, but those flowers can come off over there. Okay, now let's have a look at some doilies. I'm just putting some background elements into our piece. Just to build up that texture and interest. Don't want too many because I don't want to lose my William Morris fabric. And where's that blouse? What other bits have we got here? There's a nice flower. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing, but just on this shoulder there's two flowers. There's that one and there's this one, which is quite a big, really distinctive flower image. I'll just nip it out of this and then you can see it. There we go. This here. That's a real statement piece. So I wonder where we can work that in as well. Maybe that guy. I'll get rid of that stem there. Well, it's not a stem, it's a shoulder seam. Maybe it's got to come in there. Getting rid of that piece. And we'll bring that flower petal up onto it. Yeah, I like that. Some pins. Now we haven't yet solved the stem issue. I'm just going to hop up and grab a couple things that could work as a stem. Okay, won't be a moment. I'm just going to grab some Appleton yarn. And, sorry guys, I won't be long. Okay, so I've just grabbed some Appleton yarn, which will give us the real green stem. So we can make it as thick or as thin as we like, which is good when you want to have a smaller tentacle coming off of a plant, and then it meets bigger tentacles. And you can also split it to come out in all directions. because you've got a numerous branches to work with. So there's that scenario, which I don't mind, has potential. The other crazy idea I had was using a lace. It was very lineal looking, and I'm just looking in this lace basket where I thought there might be something. So I've got these edges that I've kept off of all the doilies that I've trimmed. And there's these types of, see there's a line through there and through there. I thought maybe a lacy line could be made out of it, but I don't know. Let's have a look. I'll have a play. I do like the green and I know it'll work, but I'm just wondering if we could pinch out of this some lines. Just follow the there's plenty of it, and I could certainly cut out strips pretty easily. Let's get that paper clip out of there. And I'll keep going because at least if I've got a decent size piece, we can really, it doesn't mean that the green doesn't need to be there too, I guess. It would help reinforce the fact too that we are creating this lineal element. Let's get rid of these little nodules. They're not nodules, but in the plant world they would be considered nodules. Okay, so it would be along the lines of that sort of look, and then the leaves would come off of it. I don't know. I don't mind it. You're probably looking at going, you're insane, Corrine. Would be something different. And then we could even still use the green to highlight through as well. So if anyone didn't know what I was trying to achieve, at least the green would be in amongst it. Do we couch both together? Don't know. This is going to be fun. Something to think about. The bird is a definite, so I'll at least be able to stitch down that bird, and then I can look at the rest of it while I'm doing that and just sort of decide where I want this to head. I like the idea of layering that all together. You're probably thinking, this girl is nuts. Bring that guy in closer. That will curl around. give us our... Don't like how that's attaching up there. Needs to be a little bit more like nature, and it's not at the moment. The question is, can we create a foliage finish out of all of these elements? I'm just fiddling down on the bottom here. I'm going to cut that there. Bring that into there. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Needs a little bit more fiddling, but I think we've got a start here at least. I definitely want to do another flower over there. And we'll need to get our plant foliage branch up to this region to connect in, like so. And then the green edge just to sort of abstractly catch your eye and say, yes, that's definitely something. There we go. What do you think, guys? Have I finally lost my noodle? Or can you see something there? I can see something. Just going to trim this little element off as well and bring that in just to help build the floral. Where's that blouse? What other goodies do we have? I think that'll be the next task, is cut out all of the bits that are left, so I know exactly what I've got, because there's not a lot here, but there's enough. A couple good big pieces, some little elements, some little leaves. Like these little leaves will be great because they'll help reinforce the fact that we've got this leaf thing happening, like one there. What else have we got on here? There's a big flower. Just going to cut out this big guy. See, even little bits like that, they'll be good just to build up texture and help sort of layer upon layer our piece. That's a good flower, but I'm going to get rid of this little leaf down here. I think he's too valuable out on his own. I'm going to take him as well. Bring him up into there. Some little extra elements. take those as well off. It's easier probably to work with some smaller pieces than it is lots of large pieces. So I'm just going to rough cut out this now. I really like this net. That's going to add an interesting features, I think, around, just to sort of, it's like lichen off of a tree. There's another flower. Sorry you're not on camera, guys. I just don't want to mess up my layout too much. Yeah, I'm liking that. So far we've done the top half. Let me get little bird back into shot. He's sitting up there. We'll have another leaf plant over here. I might even enlarge that flower a little bit to make it a little bit more predominant. I'll do a similar sort of colours, but maybe cut each petal just that little bit bigger and have it really fill this spot here. Could even make it more 360, like add more petals. So I will have a play over there. I am liking this. I love how we've got some texture. I'm thinking that I'm really enjoying. I'm just going to, oh, will I cut it? No, I'm not going to cut it. I'm just going to twist that because that's where the branch could come together. If I can just move that up. I'm just going to twist that and pin it. I won't cut it because it's a point that I can work towards. All these strings can come down. Okay, so we've got a plant that's over to the flower, heading up here to catch the bird. There's leaves and lace all the way. It's then coming back down through to the center. So, whoops, having trouble pinning this. There we go, and then that will come back through there. I feel like we've got lots of movement in the piece. Yeah. Just looking at the TV up, I've got it on the wall there, which is projecting from my iPad, which is up there. And that's a really good way of seeing where your piece is sort of heading. Just rearrange that piece up with the bird up the top there. I spun it around so that it's sort of more within him. He's within it. A little bit more camouflage, like there's a branch coming from the top down to him. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to pin that one. That's a keeper. I like where this one is. That's a keeper. I like that little random piece of net there. That's staying. I like this one coming out here, but it still doesn't cover the birds at the top. This little guy is staying. That little guy is staying. Sorry, you're out of shot. Let's just slide it back up. So I pinned him and him. This little guy is staying. That little guy is staying. And that little guy is going to stay there too. Okay, he can stay. He can stay for now, and he can stay for now. Rest of this just needs to be pinned, and then I'll apply the art glitter glue. How are we going for time? I'm just miles away here. Okay, all good. I've got plenty of homework to do this week. I don't think it'll change too much. I'm pretty happy with this. So I don't think I'll come back next Friday and go, oh guys, I've done this. I'm pretty pleased with this. Considering we had no plan and we've changed plans, I think this has got potential. Just can't get that to curl, but I know it'll curl, so I probably don't need a pin. I'm just trying to get all the pins down that won't have glue in that vicinity, so it has to hold to some degree. Everything else will have a little bit of glue. That's all those leaves. What I'll do is I will stitch everything you can see here, but I won't do this flower. I'll wait until we come back and I'll do that with you because I want to enlarge it. I want to make it more of a size about it. So I'm going to leave the flower to do with you, and in the meantime I'm going to cut out the rest of these little elements that can be used as we build our piece. I'm going to stitch down all of it so far, and yeah, then I'll be back in the next video to give you a bit of an update, and then we can carry on with, you know, the rest of the piece. All right, I hope you all have a lovely week, and I will see you all working on our slow stitch of William Morris next Friday. Okay guys, look after yourselves. Bye for now.